So on today's Vast Motorsports, I got a little job here. My neighbor Ray, his Tahoe, he's got an '04 Tahoe, it's got the 5.3 V8. Anyway, it threw the belt off. Luckily it was right there in his driveway when he was backing in, but it did throw the belt off. And I know he had someone put an alternator on it recently. It was making a squeaking sound, and I noticed after he told me he had the alternator done, I'd hear him go past or whatever, it'd still be squeaking sometimes. So I kind of figured something was going on there, but he stopped in today and asked me if I could take a look. So I went on over and took a look, and this is what I found. So I figured, of course, the belt was off and I could see the alt's new, and you just go around and spin the pulleys. You know, it's like I told him. I said something has to be, you know, give them a wiggle side to side, try to wobble them, check for them bearings. This is the big fan blade on the water pump there, and I mean, it's just floppy. So even though he's still got coolant, and it didn't appear to be overheating or losing too much coolant yet, but that pulley is definitely too loose. The water pump is shot. So went ahead and undid my the little 8 right here, undid the little cover here so I could lift it up, undid this 8. Now I'm gonna get this out of here. Sometimes you have to use a screwdriver to get these loose. I'm just gonna set that out of the way here. Now I should have a better view in here. Let's see what we got. Luckily, these pumps are not very difficult. That's why I was going to go ahead and get it knocked out for them today. I do have a lot going on, but oh yeah, that will let a belt fly off. So anyways, very good friend of mine anyway, long time neighbor. I've been neighbors and friends with him for 20-something years. So I don't mind trying to help people out like that when I can. And luckily this is an easy enough one. I can get this knocked out today. Let's get on it. Whew, feels good in here today. In South Carolina in August, it's kind of humid and hot today and nasty out. So I'm inside because I'm lazy. Or not just lazy, but spoiled. So I got the air running in the shop. I got central AC. So all I want to do now is slide my big tote under here that I got cut down that fits under vehicles to catch the antifreeze. I'm going to go ahead and pop that lower hose off right here. Some people would open the drain petcock on the radiator. This radiator here is old, and I don't want to be messing with it. Could crack something or make something leak. So just going to pop the top hose. I'm sorry, the bottom hose. Let it drain down. Then the 2 heater hoses can come off, and everything will go right into that. So I went ahead and removed or pulled the 3 clamps back. Just using a big pair of pliers. Now I'm taking my hose tool, I'm gonna stick it in here and get this broke free. Try to slide it around it without puncturing anything. I seen the hose move, so I could tell. Give it a little twist, get it broke free. Now, try to take it off. Oops. Not making too much of a mess. I guess it was pretty low on the coolant. Something's up. Get all that down into the barrel down there, the catch can. Oh well, she was low. Alright, I need to go ahead and get these broke loose off here. I'll probably have to use my hose tool again. Actually, it's been draining for a couple minutes now once I pulled the actual heater line off. I guess the thermostat was actually holding back that good. So I'm going to go ahead and take the other heater hose off, and then this upper hose here. Once I got this upper hose out of the way, I can go ahead and lift this shroud piece out. Pretty much just going to zip out these tins. It's got one on each side here. And then, like I said, separate the 4 clips, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. Lift this whole upper out of the way. Make some more room. Use my clip tool like this. get that middle of the pin pulled out, and then that part. Do not drop down in there. Just pop that center out. And as you can see, once you get this upper shroud out of the way, you got all kind of room. So really, the water pump isn't connected to anything. This tensioner is bolted to it with 2 bolts right here. You can remove them very easy. The thermostat housing and assembly is bolted right to the water pump. It'll come off with the pump. You've pretty much just got these 10s around it, and they're kind of hard to see. But also the compressor, this little bitty belt, I can tell it's got like a lot of roughness to it. Besides getting soaked in the antifreeze just now, I could wash that, but it actually has little rough chunks missing. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that. I know I remember doing the compressor and stuff and that belt, even the tensioner here, but that must have been 10, 12 years ago. I did it for him. And so anyway, I guess it's time for a new belt. The air is still working great. The compressor sounds good. But while we're this far in there, and the outside belt has to come off anyway to do this little inner one, I might as well just get both. Alright, see, it's been so many years since I've done one of these LS style water pumps. It's only got 3 bolts on each side, almost like a old style GM would be, where you got the 2 ports on each side. And pretty much it fell off when I did that. And you see the gaskets on the back, but let me get that, I forgot the other hose. Let me get that heater hose off and get the pump up. Now, I always keep some of the 3M black weather stripping adhesive around. I just take and put like a little dab or 2 on it. And this stuff is super sticky, so when you place your gasket on, boom, you better make sure them holes are lined up with your bolt holes, because it'll be stuck in place and it'll hold it there while you set it on the vehicle. It's a lot better than just using like black RTV, because that takes a long time to dry. This stuff dries like as soon as you stick it to it. Actually, you got to be quick about it, because it'll get a skin on it and not be very sticky if you let it skin up. So anyway, went ahead and cleaned up my 2 spots here where the gaskets go, and took a little brake cleaner on a rag and go over it real fast. Okay, so I went ahead and installed 1 bolt on each side, just fingered tight a little bit, and then of course had to hold this to support and wiggle it a little and get them started in decent where they were holding the pump. And then I could go ahead and stick the other 2 on this side and the other 2 over here. There's 3 on each side. So anyway, and then just snug them down nice and tight. Next, I'm going to go ahead and slip the heater hose on and undo the clamps, get them tight, and then go ahead and do this lower AC belt, because it's the second belt, and I want to go ahead and get it on before any of this other stuff's in the way. So I went ahead and stuck the AC belt on. I'd already cleaned up the pulleys. Next step is I'm going to go ahead and put the thermostat and housing on, and that way I can put the lower hose on and attach it and get the clamp back on. I've got the idler pulley I still need to bolt right here, and then I can put my big drive belt on around all the accessories, where I can go ahead and thread the fan back onto the assembly here on the front of the new pump. And these are 15 mil. Holding the idler on. I already checked it and spun it. You always want to check, spinning the wheel, all these pulleys. And that's actually how I found out that the water pump was bad. So I went ahead and made sure that the little, there is a little stud here on each side, and then make sure it's lined up with the top and bottom. Push all 4 of your pins back in, 2 on each side. Pull the shroud up, go ahead and stick these 10 mils in. Got 1 on each side here. Next, we can go ahead and get this upper hose back in its clamps here. Get it pushed down onto the top of the water pump. Alright, make sure your hose is in the correct area where it needs to be on the nipple. any of the hoses. And one of my little tricks is when I'm getting ready to slide a clamp down the hose and it's got to go over the bigger bulge here, I always spray a little WD on here, and it makes it so much easier to slide the clamp over where you need to. Alright, so pretty much finished up with the clamps. Put this baffle and air breather tube back on. Tighten everything down. Got the cover on, tighten it down. Got my funnel on. I'm sitting there filling up the system with coolant and water mix. And looks like it needs a little more, so let me get that topped off till the funnel is you know, where it's satisfied level. And then I'm going to back it outside and let it run for a little bit, let it burp out any air, and she should be good to go. Alright, backed it out of the shop so I can let it run because the air is on inside the shop. Anyway, she's smooth as can be, nice and quiet. Good to go, no more squeaky poo. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take the hose and wash it down a little bit in this area because I don't like when coolant gets in there on stuff. It doesn't really evaporate and it'll just stink. So I'd rather get rid of that real quick before I get the engine warmed up. Let me turn it off. And thank you for watching. Bass Motorsports, another one bites the dust. Okay, so I guess if you stayed tuned this long, here's a little bonus footage for you because I was going to check Ray's check engine light when I hooked up my OTC Genesis scan tool. It uses power off the data link to turn the scanner on, and it was not powering up, so I decided to come check some fuses. If you don't have a power probe, you should get yourself one, or some knockoff or whatever. This is a power probe. But anyway, you can go along and check fuses so fast. I've got it set on the positive and I have the tone on so it'll beep. But when I get over here, as you can see, you just touch the fuses on the end there. The little, but when I do this one, I got positive on one side, nothing on this side, so that's telling me that fuse is bad. Got another one over here. Now I'm going to track it down though. Right there, that's right. See, I got positive on one side. It's not going through the fuse. That one is. Oh yeah, that one is. Not this one. Nope, no good. So anyway, if I pop that out, of course I'm going to need some needle nose. Yeah, clean it out. Anyway, those are bad fuses. And yeah, just like I said, when I pulled it out, it's broken. That's how you know the fuse is no good, when it's broken across there. This is a spare. As you can see, it's making it a complete union all the way around. Alright, so now I'm gonna pop the new fuse. Sorry for all the moving around, drop my power probe, but oh yeah, now it's good on both sides. That's right. Good to go. And now we have power to the scan tool.